Yeah, that's right. Deal or No Deal Island episode 4 is back. And wow, what a night here of Dondi. We've got so much to talk about here on a huge episode of the show. I think it was the best of the season, and we will break it all down. First, a woman who can weigh in on tonight. At what level was the Dixon energy? Jenny Autumn.
Oof. The Dixon energy was very, very big, Rob, and the final briefcase is busting open.
Wow.
It's filled to the brim. And I am filled to the brim with joy about what we got to witness tonight. I'm very happy, having a good time. So
okay, of course we have a man who I think is got to be excited after this episode. It's Chappell. Chappell, how are you?
I'm good, but what's exciting about this episode? We lost the showmance. The whole reason I came here was because you told me there was going to be a showmance. It was an episode, mance. It happened. A moment to mance.
It was one show mance.
One
it
show.
was a show mance.
One show mance.
Grand opening, grand closing. I was promised a good time, and
it was a quick storm.
It was the fastest storm, the briefest of storms, and I'm so excited to talk about it with y'all.
You know how it is in Texas. The storm blows in, blows out.
Yeah, but everything's bigger in Texas. The energy was big. The Dixon energy was big, but man, we just did not get enough of the it was supposed the showmance was supposed to happen, and I just did. I feel like I was robbed. Where's the sequel?
Yeah.
Not enough will they, won't they?
Right.
Will they, won't they?
I didn't feel any of the tension building up. Like I thought it was so fast. It was like a fairy tale love story going too soon.
I don't think we've ever had in the history of Deal or No Deal Island a rug pull like we had tonight, where it's like, okay, I'm expecting CK to go home, and Dixon, even Dr. Will couldn't believe it, that Dixon, of all people, that, we saw the little bit of a glimmer back in the first night of Deal or No Deal Island, when after Luke went home, Dixon was like, well, serves him right. And part of me was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
He's a savage.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy who's like, I saw this coming, but...
You did? How did you see?
There are moments throughout the episode where the show is really kind of... Well, no, I'm not... Jenny probably caught it in the previews, okay? But throughout the episode, whenever you get a Storm and MG moment, they cut to Dixon every time. And it's like, I was like, why do they keep cutting to Dixon? It's like, why is he upset about this back rub? Well, why? It's not. He never looked like the doting brother that you would think if you were supporting this romance. He looked like he had a license to kill here, and he was just.
Do you think that there was some jealousy, Chappell?
No.
Not one of those family relationships.
No. God, no, not like that. Not the Lannister relationship. Mm-hmm. No, I think that the show was just
siblings.
I think the show was just sprinkling some little breadcrumbs throughout to be like, maybe everybody's not supportive of a showmance. And I would love to talk about the strategic elements of what Dixon did in this game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This was just a huge night. Of course, there will be exit interviews tomorrow. Check out the exit interview with Storm coming on Wednesday.
Jenny, you got to ask him the question.
What's the question?
I mean, we got to know. Is this thing for real?
The storm
is the
still
storm
brewing?
Yeah. Did the storm make landfall?
Right. Like, what's going on? Like, what? Update.
Is it Hurricane Maria Grace?
Yeah.
Right. What are we doing here, y'all? We didn't come here to play. We came here to ask the hard-hitting questions, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, we'll find out. You can hear that, of course, in our Dondi podcast feed, weknowdondi.com. And let me just say, I am not one for hyperbole, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, all right? I'm going to speak directly to the listeners, okay? Mm. We have a Dondi podcast coming up. You're not going to believe, okay? So trust me on this. Go to weknowdondi.com. Make sure you subscribe. Search for our podcast feed wherever you listen to podcasts, okay? You're not going to want to miss this.
He's not one for hyperbole. Listen to this man right now.
Mm-hmm.
The seriousness of his tone.
Yeah. I would not use this tone if I was not deadly serious.
Rob, you got to put yourself full screen. Put yourself
Full screen. I was going
Yeah,
to
let's
do
go
that, but
full
I didn't want
screen.
people to think like, oh, what
No,
happened
no.
with Jenny and
It's
Chappell?
fine.
It's
No,
right.
not.
It's right.
Listen. I'm telling you. I would not lie. 15 years in the game. I'm gonna stake my reputation on this. You're not going to want to miss this. In fact, this whole week is going to be we're going to blow your minds, okay?
All right.
Let us blow your mind.
Let's blow your minds, okay? All right. So, we've got a lot to figure out, but really the Dante season, I think, kicked into a whole new gear after tonight, because I think that, we had everything that was going on with Dixon, but now we have sort of like this drama of really it's set up of the family of, okay, we knew with David and Parvati and Dixon, but now MG, now no Storm. Okay, now are the kids fighting? Are they going to? Is Parvati and David going to be able to fix this? But it seems like on one side, with Dr. Will calling his shot at the end of the episode, that he's very wary of Dixon, and now he's targeting the family, and it's turning into, I think every Dondi fan needs to ask themselves, which side are you on?
Ooh.
It's a fandom divided.
It is a fandom divided. And luckily, we are a fandom here. And so I have to ask y'all, Rob, I think I asked you this on the first, before we even started the season good. You have Parvati, you have Dr. Will, you have David. Who are you rooting for?
Well, I have to feel like that Dr. Will is squarely the underdog right now, right?
I mean, is he? There's a huge target on this family, Jenny.
But here's something that I feel like I didn't get as like fleshed out as I wanted. Obviously we've got a lot of setup about the family. We got mom and dad and David and Parvati. Dixon is clearly their son, and this new piece of the family tree in this episode that apparently Maria Grace is the daughter, I guess. The daughter. And but there seems to be, we were acting like Dr. Will is out on this island. He's literally on an island. It's Dondi. But that he was really just like a lone wolf out here. And, we see him strategizing in one of the little domes with Seychelle, Philip, and Storm in such a way that it felt like they were a thing. And it wasn't really explained to me, but it was like, Will talking about him and Seychelle being safe, and then like what to do about Philip and Storm and how to protect them. And I just feel like, was this a thing? Is this an alliance? And did Will truly lose a number that could have rode for him tonight in losing Storm? Like, was there an opposition building that could rival the family?
I don't know. Feel like that.
Yeah.
It's why those four?
Could Dr. Will be picking up people who are the anti-family? I think it's hard. There's not a ton of people out there in the game. You have Philip, who is very closely aligned with Parvati. You have CK, who hates Dr. Will. Storm's gone. Will doesn't trust Dixon. He's in the family. I mean, who's left? Lachelle? Seychelle?
Yeah, that's it. That's the team. That's the squad. Look, I don't think this is the crew he was going to use to build to take out the family, right? And here's why. Anybody with eyes can probably tell that Philip and Parvati are aligned. If you've been paying attention, it's clear that Storm ain't going after MG anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? So for that to be his ally, where he's like, yeah, y'all are going to be the ones that take out the family. It's like, no, they're not. You don't think MG is going to go after Storm. Storm is going to go after MG. Stop it. And she's not going to betray MG's father and mother either. So that, to me, that's not what that is. To me, this looks like I got to rally the troops against CK somehow. And these are the people that I need for CK specifically, because I'm coming in. I got power. So the people are flocking to me to make sure it's not them. And there are several people who are just safe because of the cases that they pulled. I believe Storm was, I believe the bottom two cases were safe, and the biggest two threats or whatever were safe. So there's a group of people that are like, I can't really be touched anyway. So he's got to go to these, they got to come to him basically and try to get whatever Will they want Dr. Will to do. And so for him, he's just like, yeah, I'm kind of trying to build something right now with whoever will work with me, because I do think he still feels like he's on an island.
But is there an extended family? Is this the sort of thing where it's like, because there's these other people that, seem to be not in the family directly, not in how it's been presented to us, but you've got your, like CK is talking game with Parvati quite a bit. She is clearly linked somehow to these people. And like, what's going on with Letty? Don't really know where Letty lies.
Yeah, where's Letty?
Here. What's happening with Letty? Letty seems like someone that Parvati might have kind of in her fold. Like, are Letty and CK like the cool ants? What's I'm just saying, like, is this the sort of thing where, this wasn't about Will seeing the family and being like, I need to target the family. His target is CK, but CK is like adjacent to the family perhaps, and it's someone that, David and Parvati might have their hooks into. So I don't know. I think that there's like the nuclear family, and then there might be like these people where it's like, you're not a piece for me, you're a piece for them, and so you can go.
I want to go back to the end of the episode, and we'll talk through everything from tonight, but just the decision that we see Dixon make at the end of the show where he takes out Storm. That, first off, did either of you see that coming?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, whenever,
how did you know?
When you watch the competition, because they keep giving us these tender moments between Storm and MG, but every time they do it, they cut to somebody who's looking like, like, why are they doing this? Even in the very beginning, Lachelle like comes out in her robe, like, girl, get in the house. I see you out there with that boy.
Mm-hmm.
So there are definitely levels of disdain. But for some reason, whenever they cut to Dixon, whenever they were having like the back rub and all this other stuff, Storm is celebrating so big when Dixon hits the target. I'm like, it's like, are y'all aligned? I haven't seen any of that. And so when it came down to it, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go work let me go and convince Dixon what to do. I was thinking, this ain't the Dixon I know. I remember I was told the Dixon that we know is cutthroat. And so the whole time I didn't think like necessarily like, oh yeah, I know for a fact he's gonna go and betray Storm. But I definitely thought something else is about to happen. This is too straightforward. It's not gonna be CK.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Mine was a combination of and now I just think I need to stop watching like the teasers at the like in the premiere, because there were enough scenes involving people that I hadn't seen happen yet, and so I was able to kind of like knock a few possibilities. But early in the episode, I was definitely noticing the visibility spike of the showmance or the episode mance of MG and Storm. And until we got the challenge results, I was actually most worried for MG. I was worried, oh, I think that she's going to get sniped here. It's going to be like we have to break up the showmance kind of narrative. This is before we even know who's in control here. And then obviously she ends up being someone who is safe at the Banker's Temple. So once that was out of the question, that's when I really started to get worried for our guy Storm here. So It wasn't a big shock, but it was still riveting television.
I was shocked when it
happened.
I'm
glad.
I couldn't believe it. Was this a good decision?
I think so. I think this is the move. I think this is the move for sure. Everyone's like, let me talk to Dixon, okay? I'll get him to do our bidding, okay? He'll go after CK. If we lose him, we lose him. If we don't, you don't. But if I'm Dixon and I'm in this family, I got mom and dad, I got MG, and here comes this boyfriend. I'm like, who your people? Where you come from? I ain't never met your family. How you just gonna come over here and just start dating? Because now you're pulling my sister away from the alliance. Now she's more loyal to you than she is the brother. CK isn't coming for Dixon. CK coming for Dr. Will. Somebody else in the episode said it like, hey, as long as the family is around, I think it was Seychelle. She said, as long as the family's around, people are looking at them. They're not looking at me. Dixon should be thinking the same exact thing. Parvati, David, those people you need to keep in the game. Dr. Will, when they did the excursion where they had to put everybody's ranking as far as like who was the biggest threats, guess who was at the top of the board? Will, Parvati, and David. So why am I taking them out? Let them hang out. Y'all go after them. I'm gonna take out one of these pieces in the middle and then go back into hiding. I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I think on paper, it's with the options available as well. Like, it makes sense. I don't think that taking out CK would have been terrible either, though, because I do, maybe he has gained favor with CK by not doing what clearly she knows Will would have wanted him to do. You know, maybe that helps or builds a relationship, but I think that he was probably, it seemed like he was actually good with Storm. However, you need, when you're in that position and you're deciding, I just made an incredible deal, I need to make a move, I need to make sure somebody is eliminated that is some sort of threat to me. And even if he isn't a strategic threat to you at this point because you have a relationship with Storm, you're thinking there are physical challenges and I need to like do whatever I can to level this playing field. I am never going to beat a guy like Storm in whatever the final challenge is, if there's any sort of physical component. So just on that level, it's like, this is someone who was not going to target me probably, but this is someone I'm going to have to beat eventually. So why not do it? Pisses some people off, but I don't think like a ton of people.
Yeah.
I think it makes what I worry about for Dixon here is that I think it really illuminated, like he really illuminated that, and not just subtly, like he was like, I am here to play, I am here to make big moves, like not just with his actions, he was saying it the whole time he was up there. So I worry that he just drew like way too much heat onto himself with this too.
People are looking at him differently now, and so maybe that he ultimately becomes a target. And does Maria Grace try to avenge Storm?
No, because he's in the family. Parvati and David are going to make sure that they keep the family together. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's perfect. You pick this tangential piece that you're not really aligned with. She said, I thought y'all were friends, but that's it. She wasn't like, you betrayed our alliance. You know, to me, it felt like it was like the perfect, like, oh, dang, I didn't know we were supposed to save Storm. I didn't know we were going to save.
Well, Chappell, do you think this move came from the top? Do you think that Parvati maybe puts a bug in Dixon's ear of like, you know, this Maria Grace, she's a good girl, but you know what? I'm not liking this guy that's hanging around.
If Parvati did it, they would have showed it to us, because that's the type of, that's the energy I need from Parvati, right? Like she's still up there, like sitting up on her throne, like the queen stays queen, make no mistake, Maria Grace. I'll shut this down. But we didn't get it. I think he went rogue. And I think, like you said, you pointed out a great thing in that first episode. People were underestimating Dixon as far as like what he can do in the game. And a lot of people, it seems like, have no issue going to the end with him. So it's like, okay, well, if y'all all are fighting to go to the end with me, I'm gonna make sure that the people that I want at the end are with me, and not just whoever, you know, the Davids, the Storms of the world. If it's up to him, all these big strong people can go, and it's probably him and Seychelles at the end, you know, battling it out.
But also, sorry, I was just gonna say, Parvati could be pushing the agenda here, and just that, like, you know, maybe they can't show everything if they want there to be like a bit of the shock, because look at like people were genuinely shocked that this is who ended up being eliminated by Dixon here, because you have to think that if you're Parvati, like you want to obviously you want to make sure David doesn't go out here, and it seemed like that was maybe like a little bit of a tiny concern for a second, especially when you hear Dixon doing a lot of these confessionals about, I'm gonna make a big move, and you're like, oh, what's a big move? But she's got to be someone who wants to keep a CK in, because she's worried about Will. Will is a problem for her, and you cannot let Will get what he wants here. And you need Will and CK to keep feuding. Keep that as the big distraction here. So I really feel like if Parvati knew that that CK was who was like, Will was telling Dixon to try to do, like, she's going to be like, that is not good for your game. You should do something else. And we just didn't show it.
Maybe. I mean, it's such a great jaw drop moment when he ultimately decides to go after Storm. So maybe the editors didn't want us to like know what he was going to do. So, you know, get that big surprise shock moment. I mean, I was stunned when it happened. So, you know, Will was shocked when it happened.
Yeah, I see. But see, my thing is, if I'm Parvati, right? Storm isn't the piece I want off the board, because Storm is still a part, like Jenny was saying, this is her extended family. This is her daughter's boyfriend. He's not going to come for the mom. He's not going to do it. But Lachelle's right there. Why not her? You know, she's not in the family. You know, I feel like if it's Parvati, there's one extra step that you could take to make sure that you kind of fortify your group a little bit more. And to me, Dixon removed that piece. So I felt like this was a rogue move, but I don't know. We'll get an exit interview at some point. I'm gonna ask about this one for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning of the show where we see Maria Grace and Storm. There's a literal storm that's happening. That's where he gets his powers. That in the rain, we see Maria Grace and Storm coming together. The showmance is happening. People are seeing it. We saw Lachelle in her robe, as Chappell mentioned, spying on it. You saw Dr. Will. Listen, Dr. Will, don't forget, he invented the word showmance. He gets royalties every time there's a showmance on a reality TV.
He made money this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made bank. And that's the problem. Why is this so obviously a showmance, right? Like, we're led to believe that MG knows Survivor. She's seen it. You know, some of these people have seen Big Brother. They recognize Dr. Will. They recognize Parvati. Nobody recognizes David. But they've watched these games before. This is the easiest way to put a target on your back. And it's just like, if you ever want to show somebody here is Showmance 101 reality TV. Here it is. This grant, like I'm talking about from beginning to end. Find somebody that you can work with. You get close to them. You get in a showmance. You hide it. You hide it with your life because people are gonna look at it as a pair that they got to break up. And you're doing this in front of the person who literally invented the way that game was played. Mm-hmm. It's just like, man.
Is Dondi like actually the perfect environment to brew a showmance? Because
absolutely
they're comfortable, they're clean, they're not on live feeds. It's hot. It's like you got like the sexy sweaty thing going on.
It's a beach,
but it's air conditioned.
And it's air conditioned.
Yeah, but outside you're like having your little like nighttime chats outside.
Stroll on the beach. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
like
you're right. There's ice, there's iced tea.
Yeah. Like I just feel like, you know, we're only on season 2 of Dondi, and we maybe just haven't had enough hot eligible singles on Dondi yet. And I just think that like they have the comfortable environment. They're not like, it's not like on Survivor where they haven't brushed their teeth and they're like, you know, laying on the ground in between like, you know, like a 68-year-old man and then like the girl that you want to hook up with or something. You know what I mean? It's like the perfect environment to get a little romance going. And this might be the beginning of something beautiful.
Even the camera work, Jenny, in the first scene when they show it, it looks like they had ducked off to the side away from the cameras. Like, okay, now quickly, go over here. Okay, now, how you doing? Like, what's up? She said he took off his shirt and I couldn't go inside, but it didn't look like it was a part of like, it was like, you know, production was in on it. It's like they saw them and were like, wait, what's going on over there? So you're right. This is the perfect time to duck off, do your thing, you know, canoodle a little bit, and then get back to the game. The problem is everybody can see you. We can see you.
But it's not live feeds, at least. You're not in the Big Brother.
We can't see you, but your competitors can see you.
Okay.
Yes.
So we see the next morning, Parvati and CK are talking, and Parvati is like, look, you made it too obvious. We get it. You blew up your spot that you don't like Dr. Will. Dr. Will is like, okay, bad body language from CK. He can tell. He knows when people don't like him.
He does.
He can sense that.
Happens all the time. Big Brother,
he knows.
Like, he was enemy number 1 in Big Brother for a long time, and matter of fact, for 2 seasons. He did very well under those circumstances. So yeah, this is not new territory for him.
I think also if you like employ the kinds of like social strategies that someone like Dr. Will does, where it's like purposely kind of like, you know, playfully trying to get under your skin, it's like you're purposely giving opportunities to see who is really going to be able to handle it and who is like just completely like F you, please go away forever. And so I think that like that's just he knows what to do to basically test the temperature of how everyone is feeling. So like it's the perfect way to know if someone F's with you or not. She does not. She knew she didn't have to say it at the Banker's Temple. It was already evident.
It was obvious. If it was up to CK, she would say to Dr. Will,
"Thou shalt not pass."
Rob, when you watch the Parvati interaction with CK though, what do you think? Do you think this is Parvati kind of making sure that CK's aim is directly on Dr. Will? Because, you know, what is she doing? She's just like, hey, maybe calm it down a little bit. People, Dr. Will can tell you don't like him. Like, to me, I felt like she was still kind of pushing her, just still directing the ship a little bit.
Yeah, I think Parvati is saying like a little bit more. Maybe this is taken from her trader's experience of you need to be a little bit more of the like silent assassin. You can't let him know you're coming. And so I think that she's trying to give her some advice. And I think that maybe she's hoping that CK will reciprocate some of that like goodwill back towards Parvati, even though she thinks it's a very bad will that's out there on Gandhi. And so evil. I think that, Parvati is, trying to, we've seen Parvati and CK, have like some like productive strategic conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know she was trying to make CK kind of like the figurehead of like whatever all this is. Like she wants CK to be as big of a target as possible. And so I'm like, yeah, by saying CK, you're a huge target to Dr. Will. Maybe you should stick around and make sure you go after Dr. Will. Let's lay low. It's kind of like you're helping her, but at the same time, you're making sure she knows who the number one enemy is.
I want to talk about this next conversation that we see between Dixon and David. Okay. Dixon and his island dad, and David is telling Dixon to jump into a little bit more of the convos, but we get more about Dixon's backstory. We heard, I don't know if it was in the first episode or the second episode, a little bit more about Dixon, that basically his parents owned a restaurant. There was like an older couple that sort of like took him in as an adopted son. Now I think he's talking about his biological dad, I'm imagining, in this clip. But I don't know. This was like a little bit of like the Dixon villain origin story that we got here.
I think if my dad saw that I came home with millions of dollars, he would want to spend a lot more time with me. And he told me that I'm not entertaining enough, I'm not special enough to get on TV. So proved you wrong, Dad.
Well, he's not entertaining enough to get on television? Why would you say that, Dixon's dad?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
No wonder he's taking, David as his island dad and possibly like be on the island. How dare you, Dixon's dad? What a terrible thing to tell your child. Like you do not have the personality or the charisma to get on reality
enough.
TV. Screw your dreams. So yeah, good for Dixon to be like, joke's on you. Here I am.
Yeah. Dixon's interviews are so funny to me though, because he's always like, yeah, so I was talking to my dad and my dad said that. I'm not like, it's the way.
That's what I'm saying though.
It's great TV. What are you talking about?
He's great. Yeah. Dixon's dad doesn't know anything.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of reality TV he watches, and maybe he just doesn't realize, like, maybe he thinks that everything is like, like late 90s, early 2000s, where I shouldn't say this in front of Rob. You have to be like certifiably insane to like even get cast on reality.
You have to send in a VHS tape, Jenny. It's crazy back then, okay?
I'm thinking like real world, like MTV reality TV.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Amazon, yeah.
Survivor the Amazon.
Yeah.
And,
people get naked for chocolate peanut butter. Dixon's not doing none of that. Yeah.
You can be
we're only a couple of
person.
shows. You have to be really entertaining then.
Exactly.
Yeah, the bar of being entertaining is low enough that any,
you had to
Dixon's dad should be a little more understanding.
Somebody's face back then. Yeah, maybe that's what it is though. He's comparing, like Jenny said, he's comparing it to those old days. Like I couldn't see him getting.
He's old school,
but I couldn't see him spitting in somebody's face. Like Dixon don't got it in him. Man came here to play. He's a gamer.
I think he does. I think that's the thing is you just don't judge a book by its cover, because you're looking at Dixon, and that's what everyone's been doing, being like, oh, this sweet little funny quirky guy. He's just kind of here to have a good experience. This man is cold. Look at what he did tonight.
Ice cold. Yeah. I want to talk about Parvati and David. Okay. Now we talked about the body language with a couple different players, but Parvati's sitting on David's lap here as they're talking.
I needed to keep reminding myself that, I think at the time of this filming, they were both in relationships. I don't know what their lives look like. But I had to keep reminding myself, be like, you're not allowed to stand that. Like, you're not allowed to be shipping mom and dad like this, even though If you're a child of divorce like myself, you're just like, oh, mom and dad, they should be together. That's not what I think in my world, but here I am watching this being like, she's like sitting on his lap with her arm around him, and I'm like, whoa.
This is uncomfortable. Any parents to have a conversation with them in this position.
See,
weird family.
Milwaukee, I believe is the term.
I was just more annoyed at the idea that they have the audacity to do this in front of everybody. You know, like if we're going to talk about Storm and MG having an alliance in front of everybody, they should the entire cast should not be calling y'all the family. You know, like why is that your branding?
That's
it's
wild.
Mom and dad. I sit on his lap. We talk strategy over here. Like, bro, if anybody has a target, how? Like, what are y'all doing? I was like, Parvati, you're better than this. What is going on?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just win competitions and keep most of the family safe. I don't know. That's like
Okay.
the wild thing about it. It's just like playing in everyone's faces here.
Yeah, you know, it's very, very much Survivor when, you know, like, you know, at least Philip Shepard is giving everybody a nickname. These people are like, no, mom, dad, brother, sister, bye. Like, it's like, I can't be the dog. I can't be the wacky next door neighbor. Can I get in on the family? Nope. Nuclear family only. Sorry.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about excursion for today. All right. So
Rob,
Joe,
I understood this one. I
Yes.
understood this one.
Okay, good. Yeah, this was fun.
This was
you-
fun.
Have you ever done this? Axe throwing?
Oh, I think
I
they
did
rank
it-
everybody.
Okay.
Wait, no, we can
Well,
talk about that too.
I feel like I've done. I feel like I've done this too. But
Mhm.
axe throwing, I did for the first time like a few months ago, and I absolutely hated it
Oh,
because I was just
Really?
so stressed out that I was going to injure myself or somebody else. It was a very stressful experience.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even throwing it at people's faces like on the board. I hated axe throwing. I don't have a lot of rage that I need to get out. It's not really
Yeah.
my thing. I love it for other people, but it's
Chappell, you
it's
throwing
harder
any
than it looks.
axes?
I don't think I've ever done this. I may like, I don't know. I've done a lot of random stuff. Maybe I
I'm
did it once and just
surprised.
don't
I feel
remember.
like that it's usually at a bar. There's usually
A
Wait,
bar?
you
drinking
let you throw
involved.
axes at a bar?
Yeah.
Well, the
Like with
axe throwing
alcohol?
place I went like had like sold like White Claws and stuff. So
Oh, y'all be getting
it wasn't a
drunk and throwing
bar,
axes
I
at
would
folks.
say, but
I feel like
Yeah.
there's almost
there were
always
children.
beer involved with axe throwing.
That's crazy. It's like bowling, where it's only fun
Yes.
if you're drunk. Yeah,
I think
okay.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm maybe I've done this. But I don't think I have. I thought I think I've seen.
you were so
enough people
drunk you
do
just
it.
didn't remember.
Yeah.
Right. No, when he said bar, I was like, well, maybe. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's
Maybe
like,
it
My
happened.
wife really wants to do this. She really wants to go axe throwing. And I'm like,
See,
why don't we do something
I
else?
think I love this for Nicole.
well, has she ever done one of those rage rooms where you just go in and break everything?
No.
That feels like a Nicole thing. to
Like
me.
an office
she's
space,
done
break the
that.
printer.
She's done that in like our house,
home.
but
Yeah.
never. She's
had her own rage room.
Yeah. So
I
I
think-
told you we're gonna clean up this room. These toys are all gonna.
I think you should surprise Nicole with a rage room, not the axe throw. I think that's like A level. I think you need to take it to the next level and just let her destroy a damn like shed or whatever. And I think bro, I think she
Yeah.
would love that.
Mhm.
Unless
I would
she
do
likes
that.
to gamify things, in which case the
She hates
axe
games.
throwing, because you can like
Aim at it.
have like an objective besides just like
Mhm.
throwing a weapon.
Yeah.
But
Okay, well, let's talk about the first part first. Okay, all right. So rank everybody in terms of who is the biggest target. Okay, so we're gonna rank everybody, and then we're gonna look at the list. Okay, and so Seychelle, she's the reverse Dr. Will. She's
Yeah.
putting herself last. Dr. Will's putting himself first. Joe needs a volunteer,
Yeah.
and Dr. Will raises his hand and doesn't even hear what it's about.
My king. He's doing what we know him to do best, y'all. It's like Dr. Will, of course he did this. Of course he picked himself. Of course he volunteered. This is typical Dr. Will shenanigans.
Yes.
Would he raise his hand if he was at like one of those like and you guys know how I feel about magicians, or if you, I don't know, I feel like I've talked about this at
Magic
great length.
Mike?
Yeah, he thought he was.
He tried.
Thought he was. But like, do you think that if he was at one of those like hypnotist shows where they ask for like a volunteer, do you think Will is like volunteering in that situation? Because I don't think that he would like to be hypnotized.
I don't think so.
No, he's a man of
so-
science.
Yeah, maybe not at a hypnotist show.
Yeah. Or like just even, I guess maybe if it's not hypnotism, but if it's just like being like the magic.
Get sawed in half.
Magician's assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'd like that.
I think he has an appreciation for magic.
Yeah.
But maybe not hypnotism.
So Will raises his hand. He thought he was volunteering to be in Magic Mike 4. And so he gets to share who he marked as the biggest threat. And he picks himself.
I thought they made it sound like he was going to share the whole list, but he literally just had to say who his top person was, which was easy because of course he's going to say himself.
But I love this, right? Like it's Dr. Will doing Dr. Will things. He's identifying, look, I'm a big threat, but also he's not putting a target on his back by saying, oh, Will thinks CK's the number one threat on the board. You know, it's one other way of just kind of like hiding while being in plain sight.
So he gets to go first in the axe throwing. And so that we have ranked all of the faces on the targets based on how big of a threat you are. You had to throw an axe and hit the target to claim your suitcase. If somebody goes closer on the bigger targets, they could steal that case. Was it an advantage for Will to go first and throw at his own face? Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Because I think, especially because he was like the easy number one, like guaranteed to be 1 or 2 on the list. So that was like guaranteed safety. And the thing that I feel like doesn't really get explained in the episode is that like once somebody else has hit the target somewhere, it is harder to try to hit it. It's not even so much about like just trying to beat what they've done. It's like now you have another axe in the way of trying to just even make contact. You're gonna like the chances of bouncing it off and then getting nothing are so high that it basically, you know, the only person that was probably a concern for him and we see him address is CK. Everyone else is like, I would rather hit something and know that I have gotten a chance at this. And I just feel like they didn't really explain that. So I think for Will, huge advantage. He knows that he's someone that is going to get targeted. He knows he's a guaranteed number 1 or number 2 on the threats. And he's basically just claimed the territory. It's going to make it super hard for anyone else to go for him.
Yeah. And to your point, Jenny, I mean, if I see you trying to basically undermine me and go for the same target I got, and like you take me out and I end up in a position to go after the banker, who do you think I'm going to go after? The person who put me in this position, probably. So that's another reason why when he goes to CK, he's like, look, if you do this, you know, and you fail, like baby, if you miss, it's you. We coming after you. I'm coming after you if I'm in that spot. So yeah, I agree. I think this was a perfect spot for him.
Yeah. And he ends up leveraging that spot when CK later on tries to go for his target after he has already thrown an axe into it. Let me ask a question. With throwing the axe, is there some kind of like strategy to like throwing it? Like it spins end over end. How do you make sure the blade hits the board in the same way? Like, do I throw it a certain way that it does, like, how do I make sure the handle doesn't hit the thing?
And it does sometimes, Rob. Yeah, it does, which is extremely stressful because if the handle hits it, it's going to bounce off and come flying towards you.
Is that how that works? Does it bounce off and come flying at you?
I don't think it flies back.
They were way further back than like you might be in some axe throwing places. Like it's usually pretty safe. But that was the thing that stressed me out is like if you don't make if you're not like a freaking pro at this, you like if you do a bad throw, it's not even just about like getting the axe into the whatever. It's like you don't want it to like hit the handle and go flying back towards you. And it's very hard. There's different techniques. There's usually people that show you how like to do it and watch your like form and stuff. Like there's like the one-handed, or you can do like above your hand to like get like more like throttle, or I don't know. It is like there is a technique, and it's not easy. And you want like a sharp axe too, so that it's like primed to like hit and stick.
Yeah. In this competition, it's going to be the top 2 values, the people that were the top two biggest threats, and then also the bottom two threats are going to be safe. So there's some strategy in terms of who you're going with. But I feel like that people were not really vying for. I think people were just like, hey, I just need to get a case. I guess if you didn't get a case, you were automatically up for elimination.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, because you only get 2 shots at this, right? And so I think the first try, you try for whatever your ideal situation of who's left. And then the second try, you're like, I just have to get whatever. But I think you also are in a spot where you're now logicking in your mind, okay, who's the biggest threat left? Or is this person a small enough threat? Or, since it's like ranked voting, your smallest threat is not necessarily the group's smallest threat, right? So for Dixon, he might be like Storm is on my lowest one on the list, so I'm not going for Storm, or or something like that, or I'm going to go for Storm because he's so low on the list, or Seychelle knowing like I know I'm the last, so I'm gonna go for me, So I think there is something to it. But each person's biggest threat is probably different. They have to figure out what the consensus smallest threat and biggest threats are. And I think, the biggest threats were clearly off the board very quickly.
I just feel like that people were kind of playing scared throughout this.
Yes.
Like people were not trying to compete for any. Okay, you threw it. Like the only time we came close to it was what Dixon and Storm were going for the same one, and CK was going to try to go to Dr. Will, and then ultimately she very quickly.
She undercut Phil. Remember, she undercut Phil.
True.
That's the one time it actually happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, they were just kind of sticking to their own zones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a one dramatic moment that happens where CK is going to go for Dr. Will. And ultimately, Dr. Will says, hey, if you go for any other target and I get it, I won't put you in the thing tonight.
Yeah. I think it's a great deal. Yeah, because he already got himself. So if she fails, he knows there's no world where anybody in this game is a bigger threat than Dr. Will consensus. Like, he just knows he's number one. So it's like, if you miss this, like, this is going to be a problem for you. But you could go somewhere else. We can call it even for now. We'll live to fight another day. And I think that's what CK goes with. She doesn't want to go up against the banker again.
She was also early enough in like the order, and I don't know how the rest of the order was decided. And that I think is actually important though, because like I said, once another axe is in somebody's thing, it becomes harder to hit it. So being like having the pick early on, like obviously Will had the easiest like situation. He knew who to go for and he got to go first. But also like CK was like one of the first like 4 people, I think, or something like that. So she had other options. She really didn't have to risk it to go for Will like that.
Yeah, I think she was 6th out of 10. Like in order. But like the thing is, all the targets weren't taken. No, well, that's the thing. There were still
that's the thing. There were still things on the because I think a couple of people also didn't hit, right?
Right, exactly.
And then Philip and Seychelle went for the same, so like that's one less. Yeah,
David missed. Yeah, so you're totally right. There was a ton of like
she had lots of other options, so that's the time to do. It's like if she had to do if she had the same chances, no matter what, to like hit and be safe, then I can see her being like, screw you. I want power and I want to guarantee my safety. I'm going for you. I'm going to do a better job than you. But I think that given where she was at and the options she had, it was like that was a decent deal for her to make. Be like, well, yeah, gonna go do something else. Maybe she's done axe throwing before and she's like, it's not that good at it.
Yeah. And Jenny, and that's the thing, if she takes out Dr. Will the first round, he gets a second chance. He could then take her out again. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like he's out right altogether.
That's true.
So
that's true.
You're basically putting yourself in a shootout at that point, and I wouldn't risk it.
One more very dramatic moment from the axe throwing comes when Storm is going to, the only face left is his beloved Maria Grace. And so he's going to come out to throw his axe at Maria Grace's face, and she comes out to massage him and loosen him up. He says, "Oh, just the shoulders?"
And they cut to it like this.
What else happened that we missed?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he calls this romantic.
That was the part that I could not understand.
Yeah.
Because he hits her face with an axe, and he said this was the most romantic thing that could have
The
happened.
most perfect and romantic thing that could have happened was when I hit a picture of this woman in the face with an axe.
Yeah.
Concerning,
And,
actually.
You know,
This-
it's sad. That's what accounts for romance these days.
Showmances aren't what they used to be.
Gotta go
Mhm.
get drunk at a bar and start throwing some axes around. To me, this excursion is one of my favorites so far because there
Yeah.
are so many funny moments. The moment where you're talking about is ridiculous, obviously, but when Dixon goes to throw his axe at Storm's target or whatever, he misses the first time, and the second time he hits it, and the crowd goes wild. Joe Manganiello like jumps in the air, like, yeah! I was like, what are we doing? What are we
They're
doing?
amped.
They're hyped up for this. Like Storm is like clapping. I'm like, Storm, you're in danger, buddy. You know, like, what are you doing? And then when Storm hits Maria Grace, he falls on the ground like he just scored like the soccer goal in the Olympics. Like, oh my God! I was like, what, y'all, someone's going home tonight. Like, what are we doing?
All right. We reveal the cases. We don't, not super dramatic. Just everybody open your cases. Will instantly knows. I got it.
We don't get the order of the threats either. Like, we know Will is number one and Parvati's number two, and we know the last two are MG and Seish. I'm sorry, MG is one of the last ones. But we don't get the entire list.
They
But
showed it on the side, I thought.
No, they
Yeah.
gave us the list of the amounts that the people got. So Will and Parvati picked themselves. Lachelle was third. There's no way she's the third biggest threat. So that's how I knew that wasn't the list of threats.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought they
you have
showed
to-
it, and then they showed that
The
first,
amount-
and then they flipped it to who had what.
well,
Did they
could you
flip it?
cross-reference to
Yeah.
who Lachelle put an axe in David's face? So that
Yeah.
means David was the third.
Yes,
of
he
course,
was.
right? Yeah,
Joe
like,
said
no
that.
one's
He
talking about
said,
that.
David, you're the biggest threat that isn't safe.
Yes.
Yeah, if they flipped
I was
it,
like,
then they showed it. But I don't remember.
Okay.
I just remember seeing like the list and being
But-
like, Lachelle went third.
Hold on a second. Are we burying the lead here? Because wait, did Dr. Will just win a comp? Hold on. I thought Dr. Will can't win comps.
Dondi's different, baby.
That's what the word is. Dr. Will, he can't win anything.
Always be throwing
Throwing axes.
Throwing axes.
throwing axes. Look at that. Throwing a competition. His best skill
Yeah.
set. He proved it right here.
When he needs to, he can win a comp, everybody. Uh-oh.
Y'all in
Well,
trouble
here's
now.
the thing: is like, you know, in Dondi, like winning competitions also helps secure big money into the pot, which Will is very motivated by the money, and so this might just be like just this isn't Big Brother. This is a situation where he's going in and he says, yeah, I used to throw to lower my threat level. The threat level's already there. And if I'm not winning stuff, I want this money. I got to go get my money.
Get that paper.
But also he said it himself. He said, if I don't get secure safety for myself, I'm going to be out very quick. And I was like, I agree, and I don't. It's scary. Like, he knows it. He knows that he's in a situation where he kind of has to change what he does. It's not the same as just like throw comps and then rely on like, you know, social manipulation to get yourself. You can still do a little bit of that, but it's like, what? Just give yourself some safety here. He's winning comps.
Yeah.
Look at him.
All right, we come out of the excursion. Will won. He has his number one target. It's CK, but he doesn't want to put CK up. He wants to keep his deal. So we see some talking about what they should do. Phil, Will, Seychelles talk, as Jenny referenced. Then one of them, they talk about like who should they put up to maybe take out CK. Could be Dixon. How about that? Tell Dixon he's going in, but take out CK.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I you know, because Storm is here, and this is when Will is saying like, okay, Seychelles and I are safe because she got one of the lowest cases, so she's safe, and you know, we have to be worried about who gets taken out if we we need to protect you, Philip and Storm, because apparently we're working together. I'm trying to protect you.
Mhm.
And then we see Storm getting in on the strategy where he's saying like, okay, like, so then let's think of another person who we might be able to get to take out CK. And he has a relationship with Dixon. He thinks like this might be someone that I can work on here.
Yeah.
This should have been the moment you knew, Rob. We're 4 episodes in and we know nothing about Storm. We've never seen this man talk to anybody. We've got nothing. In this episode, Storm is like, I'll talk to Dixon. I think I can win him over. I think I can. I was like, wait, Storm, since when? Not to say that Storm ain't got no game.
Suggestions.
But since when? The show has not shown us Storm in this light. I was thinking like, the showman is here now, but also it was really the Storm show at that point.
And he's not dumb. Like, that's the thing is like, we didn't know anything about him and his like game prowess up until this point. So it's like the visibility spike and then him being in on the plan, like, especially because it's like so perfect narratively that he's like the one suggesting like, what about Dixon? Dixon might be the best person to try to, use to get out CK. Like, this is not going to turn out so good for you, my friend.
Yeah. So we see CK talking to Maria Grace. And so CK feels safe with Maria Grace. And she's asking about Storm. She says, don't worry about Storm. He's like a hotter version of Dixon. First off, how dare you?
That was Letty who said that, okay?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I wrote that down. I'm sorry.
We're not going to break up this showman that quickly. I'm still in on the showman. We got one episode, Rob.
We only got one.
How rude.
Yeah.
Still.
What is going on? Letty, are you Dixon's dad? Come on. Leave him alone.
David is Dixon's dad.
What is this, a roast? Come on.
Right.
Yeah. Leave our friend alone.
Okay. All right. We see Storm talking to Dixon. Okay. Who do you think Dixon, who do you think CK is targeting, Dixon? Could be you.
Yeah, could be me.
Yeah.
And he did the thing where, like, and it could just be edited this way, but it wasn't even like Storm said, I think that she could target you. It's like he got Dixon to say what he needed him to say to be like, she could be targeting me. And it was like, boom, you said the thing. You said the thing.
He said the thing. And he tells us that his fatal flaw is that he always assumes people are doing the right thing. But tonight, for Dixon.
But in reality, I'm looking out for myself, baby.
Baby. Looking out for myself, baby. I was like, yeah.
Don't tell me he's not good TV.
He's doing it. He's doing it.
Looking out for myself, baby. I was like, yo, he's right, though. Storm is coming to him like, this is in your best interest. CK has been listing her targets, and number 1 on the top of her list, Dixon. Definitely
After
not Dr. Will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Will's not available, so it's like.
But she doesn't get to choose
second.
this game. She doesn't get to choose this round, which is another good point of like why he shouldn't take her out. Like, I might be one of her targets, but I'm not number 1. If she's around, that buys me a week.
Okay. So we see David and Parvati talk. David is not that worried about Dixon going in. It's like, okay, good. This is fine. My buddy goes in. If he loses, but he's not going to send me out. So I'm fine. David is fine if he loses his son here.
That's crazy. This is crazy.
Well, I think it's just that, like, there were limited options of people that could play the banker, and they're thinking like, we don't want to lose one of our allies this early, but we also want to send someone to face the banker, feeling good that they will not eliminate you, because like that's the thing is like you don't want your worst enemy to be playing the banker. Like, you don't want people that you feel like not super good with to be playing the banker, because all it takes is a deal and you are out. So it's like this complicated thing where it's like, I wish he could be safe, but of the options on the board, I would love for him to play the banker and make a good deal. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we lose an ally. Like, that's better than being at risk myself,
Right. What parent wouldn't sacrifice their son to save their own life? Like, who among us?
Yeah. That's the true meaning of family.
Yeah. But Rob, David is so comfortable with Dixon in this moment. But should he be like after this episode? Should David be like, maybe I don't know what Dixon's gonna do, and I can't count on him to not shoot at me.
Mm-hmm.
Took out a big dog, and if you're David, and you're like
I'm a big
hearing the
dog.
rationale for why Storm gets taken out, you gotta say like, you know, how estranged does this father-son relationship between us have to get for you to be looking at me and being like, you're the next big dog?
David might need to win and take out Dixon, you know?
I don't think that Dixon can handle another dad betrayal. He's got a lot of dad issues already.
Oh,
I
don't
think
go away.
Yeah, but I think this is bad. I think that if I'm David, I'm like, oh, son, you know ball. Great. But also, if you're targeting big guys, I'm the biggest guy. Why wouldn't you target me? I thought I had a little wiggle room, and I might have bought myself a week with this whole Storm thing. But eventually, there's no world where Dixon wants to sit next to David at the end in those physical competitions that we saw last season. There's no way. This man knows the game. He knows deal or no deal proper to where he knows the models by name. Okay, there's no way this man don't know. If I get to the end and we're doing a ropes course against David, I'm cooked. So David, wake up. Dixon's coming for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the Banker's Temple, okay? Dr. Will tells us Dixon is going to play deal or no deal. And he's ready. Dixon's ready, okay? He's going to come out and choose case number 4, okay? Yeah, we don't know why he picked 4, right?
No, it was one of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Baseball player for the Cardinals.
Molina.
No. Oh, Molina?
Yeah.
Yadier Molina? Yadier Molina, who I hate.
Yadier Molina.
Yeah, that's what I
he
said in
said.
2006 in the Game 7 of the NLCS. F that guy.
Well, maybe you should pick cases of people you hate.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Maybe.
Because it might have
Maybe.
5 million
All right.
in it.
So Dixon does something we've never seen before in Dondi, okay?
Never.
Okay. He starts to rattle off the cases of the glamorous former Deal or No Deal models. No shout out to Meghan Markle. But
Oh, no, not
not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Dixon chooses number 10 for Anya.
This freaky frog. You a
Anya,
freaky frog.
number 10.
You're a
And
freaky
sure
frog,
enough,
Dixon.
he's right. Anya Monzakova, famous Deal or No Deal model.
Is there like a wiki with like their
of
numbers?
Case number 10. Yes, Jenny.
Like the baseball
my
cards?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
Anya. Okay.
Anya. She's
With the
gone on to
10.
have quite a career outside of Dondi, or outside of Deal or No Deal proper.
What's she do now?
She's been in like a million things. Okay.
What's she been in?
So
Chappell says, I want to know.
I mean,
yeah.
Anya is clearly the queen. Let her,
she's
let her
gone
cook.
on to have a great career. On Anya Monzakova, case number 10.
Anya
uh,
Monzakova.
Okay. She has acted and modeled in all sorts of things. Okay. She's been on SWAT. She was in Iron Man 2.
What?
Chappelle, she was in How High 2.
Stop
Oh.
it. Stop playing.
Mhm.
Stop. I'm gonna have to
No
watch. I'm gonna have to
way.
watch
2
I'm gonna
episodes of
watch
Days
her,
of Our Lives.
I'll
Yeah.
watch
her
How
catalog.
High too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's watch her catalog. That'll be our
She was
bonus
in one
content for
episode of
Dondi
Criminal
this week.
Minds.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody was in Criminal Minds. Go Anya. I see you. Work Anya.
Mm-hmm. Anya
David, you-
Monzakova. Okay.
Dixon, you're a
Okay.
freaky frog. You are a freaky
Okay.
Oh my
frog.
gosh. He
All right.
was horned up.
Yeah.
He
then
had his
goes for
mind on something.
number 1, Claudia Jordan.
Hey, Dixon, I see you, boy.
Yeah.
I remember Claudia back in the day, baby. Claudia now too. That's a woo. Okay.
Mhm.
Taste.
But the funniest thing about this was like Lachelle like turning to whoever she was sitting next to, being like, she didn't have very good luck.
She's
like-
Michelle got the stats. Okay, she's not playing around.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it was
Lachelle
only
is shady and I
$100.
love it.
Yeah.
Like, she's
So
not that great a luck.
that was good.
Claudia
Open up the
does.
low number. And then he picks number 26 for Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Well, it was number. So Lindsay was Lindsay was number
Lindsay.
26.
Yeah.
Which was the last case number. So obviously we didn't go up to 26 cases. So his rationale was instead he couldn't pick 26. So he picked 12, which was the last case in these set of cases. It was like a little bit of a reach to get there.
Like
but
he
you know
got
what?
there.
I appreciate his dedication to the number 26, which is a great number.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm sure Lindsay's great as
Lindsay
well.
Schoenweiss. She appeared in an episode of How I Met Your Mother. Also.
Real.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another fun detail about this whole display was MG and
She
her
was, like,
reaction.
dying.
She was like, "What is happening here?" You know what? I get it. Probably traumatizing for her
Yeah.
to watch her brother thirsting over women
Yeah.
as a strategy.
I apologize. It was Lindsay Clubbing is her name. Case number 26.
Okay. What's she been in?
Okay, here
There
she is
was multiple
in
Lindsays?
a police uniform.
Oh, she looks like fun.
Okay.
You know what? I think our friend Dixon might like blondes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, he picked Claudia. I think she was blonde at one point too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there you go. But then he doesn't know any other Deal or No Deal models.
Hey,
That's
that's
where
the
it
top
ends.
3, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen.
She married Boston Red Sox pitcher Clay Buchholz. Jenny. Hey.
Okay.
So, he's an all-time great
Boston
Red Sox.
Listen,
Yeah.
sometimes you're on reality. You're a hot blonde on reality TV in the early 2000s, and then you marry a baseball player.
Yep. Tales all this
happens.
time. Yep.
Tales all the time.
All right. Anyway, so Dixon, first offer comes in. He even picks number 7. Shout out to Luke. For $421,000. He's gonna keep going. Okay.
I feel like
Yeah.
you never take the first deal, no matter.
Never.
what.
No. Why would
You
I
never-
do it? Unless you
yeah.
had like
What we
it
doing
was
here?
a real players board.
And
But even
also, it wasn't even in the middle. It wasn't even like, it was like, I think it was 3 cases were lower and he had 5 on the board that were still higher. So it was like, I would say that if the first offer was at least in the middle of what you had going on, then you maybe consider it if you're feeling a little stressed and you're like, I'm going to end up in a lot of 50-50 situations here, maybe. But like, you're not taking it when there's 5 more cases out there that are higher than the offer. You got to keep going.
Okay. So he then goes number 5 for Pujols.
Yeah.
And then number 6 for Maria Grace, but I don't know why she keeps saying that. Okay. But anyway, so he's doing great. Offer 2 comes in, $1.45 million.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 cases that are left on the board. $1, $1.75 million, $2.5 million, and $5 million. And he says, no deal.
Get in there. Get that money.
And that's like,
No
that's
deal.
an
But
easy
in
call
reality,
there.
I'm looking out for myself, baby.
Yeah.
I'm looking out for myself.
that
baby.
Munyon, that guap, that Skrilla, that
That-
that cheddar,
Mm-hmm.
that paper, that cheese.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am taking that Big Dixon energy as I continue into 2025. I'm looking out for me, baby.
For me, baby. Everybody was going crazy.
Chicks dig Dixon.
That big Dixon energy.
Chicks dig Dixon.
They dig the long ball and Big Dixon energy.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like we're stepping all over my boy Nick from last season. Remember Big Wick Nick energy? Remember, like that was a thing. Y'all not gonna forget the OGs of Deal or No Deal. Honestly, I will keep the OGs alive here on this podcast. Okay, Nick, you deserve better. Big Nick
Okay.
energy for
Listen,
life.
I love Nick. It's just I've been traumatized by Nicks on reality television. So it was like there was a
Nick?
part of me that was protecting myself.
All right. He opens up 2 more cases. One is $1.75 million, and then he takes the $1 off the board, and he gets put into kind of a tough spot. Okay, so he's down to 50-50 odds. Okay, 2.5 mil or 5 mil.
The 2 highest cases too. Like that's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Storm says to Maria Grace, he's our lucky charm. Protect him at all costs.
Oh,
Storm.
poor Storm.
This is y'all. Before we get to it, we really have to track the journey of Storm in this episode.
Storm Tracker, Chappell.
Right. Let's
Let's go
into it.
out live to Storm Tracker.
Hi, it's me, Chappell. I'm your storm tracker today with our storm report of Deal or No Deal Island, season 2, episode 4. Here we are. Storm starts off the episode in a showmance. It's a very public showmance. In a storm, a showmance in a storm. It's a very public showmance. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows about it. He then goes on to the excursion where he roots for his friend here, Dixon, to win he literally celebrates when Dixon hits his axe on the thing. He even gets a back rub from his girlfriend, his showmance in this moment. He celebrates as well. He thinks that Dixon is just a nerdy guy. This is a nerdy guy. He's not the smoothest, whatever. Let me talk to him. I can get him to make a move. Let me convince him. And here he is, the good luck charm. This man is just watching, if I was Storm, I'd be watching this just like throwing my remote at the TV, like, God dang it, because it's right there. This is like a Shakespearean drama.
He says to Dixon, you got to open your case. You got to. You got to. Give him good advice.
I mean, at this point, that is, we're not just being results oriented in that, he obviously it's a good result, open your case, but it's like you're getting down to 50-50 anyway. It's one or the other. Just commit to what you chose. What is the reason to switch at this point? Christian Hubicki will explain whether there's a reason to or not. But I just think
there's no reason to switch your case.
There's no reason to switch. You felt a connection. You have to choose a number. You felt a connection. Just stay pot committed here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everybody. See, that's the thing. Rock should have stayed pot committed too last episode, but he's trying to play the odds. You gotta go with the feeling, Rob. This is about the case you pick is your case.
Right. It's one of Philip's 2 laws in life. Stay in your lane.
And stay blickety black like me.
Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. So, Dixon, what does he say, Chappell? That he was just he ends it with, I came here for the Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah, I don't know how he
not the playoffs. He said, I didn't come here for the playoffs. I came for the Super Bowl.
Playoffs?
Baby.
Yeah.
And as a Bills fan, that was a little...
Yes.
Listen, as a
Ravens fan, isn't that the...
We all hate
what are we doing here? Yeah, what are we doing here? Boo this man. Boo. You can't keep getting away with this.
It's true.
All right. So he opens it up, 5 million, baby. Yeah.
You see Storm, fist bump.
Everybody's going nuts. Everybody's going crazy.
Storm.
And it's like, we're so excited, but it's like, hold on, Dixon, there's still one more thing to do.
Storm.
You got to give us a name.
Storm. Storm? It's like a slow moving train wreck.
Yeah.
We all got to go watch the episode back knowing what's coming. And it's just like...
It's like the Simpsons episode with the when Lisa breaks Ralph Wiggum's heart. It's like you can see the moment where his heart was ripped out of his chest. That's what I think of watching Storm celebrating, so happy, rooting his friend Dixon on, not knowing what was to come.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. All right. So we get Storm. It's Storm. MJ's like, what? Oh, MG's what?
I thought y'all were friends.
Yeah.
No.
Will looks pissed too. He's just like, he just
Dixon
looks down.
goes to Storm and says, hey, I'll still come visit you. It's like, I don't want you to, I never want to see you again.
I never want to see you again.
I think you need an invite.
Right?
Yeah, I'm still going to come visit you.
No, please
no, thank you.
Stay away from me. Stay far
Use
away.
my number.
Yeah. This man took him out the game and ruined his showmance, and all in one fell swoop. Okay? This is the ops.
If you're Storm, you should be saying, you better win this final case and take me on a trip and buy me something. Like, bro, make this decision worth it. Because what the hell? If you're going to visit me, you're flying on a private jet and you're picking me up and we're going somewhere.
Now, did Dixon say out loud why he did it, or only in confessional?
I think only in confessional, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought he was talking out loud saying like, no, because I remember he was saying, because when he was starting off who he was going to pick, he said, you know, like regardless of whether he made a good deal or not, he thinks that they're all great people, blah, blah, blah. But then he's like, I came to play. I made a lot of deals with people. Like he's saying too much, I think, at this point, where he's like, and then he says the best chance for him to win is to take out Storm. So, and then he says, sorry, I came to play. So he's like reiterating that it's like, I know what I'm doing here. Like I am owning that this is a big move and I'm going, like I'm swinging here. So it was just like, I love the vision. I just worry that like the confidence of, you know, the moment, like, you know, the Super Bowl, the lights got to him and he was just like showboating a little too much. And like, which is fine. I love that for him, but like, I don't love that for putting too much attention on you when you've literally just been proclaiming to all of your fellow competitors that you came to play and they just watched you take out the guy who was playing under the radar and was your friend. Like that's scary.
Yeah. We never hear Dixon say that him and Storm are friends. You know, like I think for him, like, he's here for the game. You know, but I think you're
like
right.
Storm
I think
likes
you're
him.
yeah, sure. I think they all like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think you have a great point though. I think you can do this humbly and be like, Storm, I'm sorry. I just don't think I could beat you in the end. Da, 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 da. Or even like Storm, for my game, this is all I have to do. Like I don't really feel comfortable. Like you could play this down. Dixon like, nah, game on. It's Storm. Boom, bow, take that. You know, and like for me, Storm is so low on everybody's threat level list. You know, like I was looking at the ranking. Okay,
he's probably mid, right? Or like mid
he's
lower.
Toward the bottom. Yeah, like he's like like the two lowest are like Lachelle and Seychelle, and then right above them,
probably in the Jordan spot. Honestly.
Right, like Storm, Dixon, MG, right? Like that. Like that's a low hanging fruit. Nobody would really care about the catches. They wouldn't even really care about Storm going. MG would be upset, but none of them are really looking at this like a huge move. But the way Dixon delivers it is like, nah, take that, checkmate, baby. I'm here for myself, baby.
Dixon's like,
but in reality, I'm looking out for myself, baby.
Baby.
Such a it's the more I hear, the more I love it, to be honest. It is going to be my 2025 mantra. I think that like he could easily just not even make it about playing the game like strategic wise, to just be like, listen, there are enough of these physical portions of these challenges, and you saw me throw an axe today, guys. And I know that I'm not going to be able to beat a guy like Storm, and this might be the only opportunity I have to get rid of like someone physical. Like you could just totally blame it on the physical part of it, and then not make it seem like you're thinking about the game part of it, I think.
But we saw that little glimmer back in the first episode. Parvati clocked it too. You know, it's so interesting. I would just love to compare Aaron, who we talked to a couple of weeks ago, and Dixon, because I feel like that Aaron, while he knew the game, I feel like he had a big heart. Like I don't think he relished taking anybody out of the game, where Dixon is built different. Yeah. He is here to slit throats.
I think Dixon's been hurt. And I think that like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that it like kind of, it's like he's got like a score to settle almost, where he's like, I'm here. He's even saying it. He's like, I want to prove people wrong. And I think where, you know, someone like Aaron, like he likes people, you know, and he doesn't take any pleasure in hurting other people. Like that's more his character. He wants to play the game. He wants to win. But I think that that's where maybe things differ, where it's like, Dixon's holding on to something, and he's like, what better way to like have the last laugh than come out here and just completely like blow the competition away? All these people that are probably underestimating me. It's just like, maybe saying the quiet parts a little too out loud too early.
Well, he caught the attention of Dr. Will, who says, okay, I underestimated Dixon, and now I am coming for the family. And we leave things off. Yeah.
See, the family. It's still a bigger threat. Like the family in and of itself is such a big threat. I just love that. I love that. Has the family, I guess the big question going forward is, you know, Will obviously sees that he underestimated Dixon. He's a problem for him. And has the family and what they represent
become a higher priority target for someone like Will over CK? Or is he still going to say this is a single person who is going to be trouble for me if they, face the banker and make a good deal? Whereas like strategically long term, I need to do something about the family, but I have to get rid of this like direct threat to me first in CK. What do you think?
I think that he had already gotten there. I think the idea that he go back on his deal against CK was enough for me to say, like, okay, he's identified that, okay, I won't go after her. Because if he really wanted her out, he could just go after her.
Yeah.
But like,
and she can't take him out if she makes a good deal.
She can't take him out. She can't take him out. Like he could literally go straight toward her and make her make a move, right? But he didn't. So I felt like already he's kind of like, I need her out, but not enough to where I would go after her. I'd argue that maybe even if he beat the banker, he wouldn't have gone after CK. Like I just because like he doesn't have to. I don't think he loses any status with anybody. Like it's not like social suicide for him to go back on the deal. It's Dr. Will. They already hate him, you know. So I think that for me, it looks like the family is just this big threat that everyone's going to have to tackle at some point. And this was just another notch in the like, yep, there you go. Exactly what I'm talking about. Look at even like we know mom and dad got game, but even the son, what are we doing?
Okay. I mean, this is really shaping up into quite a Game of Thrones season of like, where is this going? Who are you rooting for? Dr. Will's on one side. The family is on the other. And I think people are going to have to like gut check of what do they want to have happen moving forward.
The Night Owls.
Because they're not all going to play along.
Yeah.
Bring me back the Night Owls. They wouldn't stand for this. They'd shut this down.
Hooty hoo. Yeah. Okay.
Chappell is always longing for the Night Owls.
The Night Owls.
He
rides
week.
for them. Okay.
I do.
All right. Anything else from this episode of Dondi?
No, just that we get to see the unprecedented, Storm is on his way out. He's doing his little like I just lost the game confessional. And Maria Grace pops onto the frame and asks if she can get something before he goes. And they have a little kiss.
Yeah.
And then Storm goes, "That was cool."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wow, that was wild that they did that.
I've never seen that done before.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Dondi cares about romance.
Imagine that in Survivor, right? The person's like, I was blindsided. I should have played my idol. And then somebody just walks in the frame like, hey, before you go, I need to get something. Can I get your shot in the dark, please?
Yeah.
Imagine like Billy Garcia is like, can I go see Candace before I...
Real quick.
I just need to share a kiss with my one true love before you send me to Ponderosa.
They're like, Billy,
Jeff,
absolutely
can we
not.
Go see her?
Absolutely not. Get away from her. Get a job.
Okay. All right. What a night on Dondi. Of course, check out the exit interview coming up with Storm. By the way, also check out the Deal or No Deal after show with Boston Rob. I hear you'll get an exclusive on Storm's real name. It's not Storm.
Oh.
There's been a lot of names. This is like a season of fun names. So gotta find out what Storm is hiding behind the storm.
Okay. All right. We got all that and more coming up. Huge week. We know Dondi.com. Jenny, what else is coming up for you?
Not a whole lot. Just really, I feel like we're just starting to get, things are heating up. Yeah, and Dondi is the place for romance.
Heat wave is moving in on the Dondi front.
A hot front.
Storm is over. Yeah,
is that what they call it? Warm front? I don't know.
Yeah,
you can follow me on social media at Jenny Autumn. And I'm appreciating all the love. The Dawn Divas are. I feel like the Dawn Divas have accepted. That is their name.
We follow the comments. Everybody has been really
awesome.
Just super interactive with this season. So we're having so much fun getting to talk about this. Chappell, what's next for you?
Shout out to the Don Deviants as well. We still out here living life as well.
Yes.
I'm around. Catch me on Recap Kickback. Talking about whatever I want to talk about. This week, Mari and I, we went to the movies. Not together, sadly, but we went to the movies.
Aww.
We saw One of Them Days, the new Issa Rae film starring SZA and Keke Palmer. And so it was great. We talked about it this week on Recap Kickback. So check out the podcast this week. And then check out our last week's episode. It's been getting a lot of views and a lot of praise. We talked about Mari's greatest TV show of all time list. Her top 10, according to Mari. The best shows that ever existed, according to Mari. If you want to get to know Mari, you got to come over to Recap Kickback. YouTube.com/@Recap Kickback. Hit that subscribe button as we approach the 1-year anniversary of Recap Kickback.
Okay. We've got so much great stuff coming your way this week. Something for everybody, I promise you, here on RHAP. Plus, we're dropping some big Survivor podcast this week. Plus, also, we've got the Traders coming up on Thursday. So, really, it's all happening right now on RHAP. Buckle up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.